Let me guess. You're constantly battling the unique demands of shift work, aren't you? Feeling relentless fatigue, brain fog, or the health challenges that come with those irregular hours. Well, it's time to stop just surviving your shifts and really start thriving. At A Healthy Shift, we're revolutionising workplace wellbeing for 24/7 teams. As a veteran shift worker for over 40 years, I know exactly what you're up against, and that's why we've built something truly groundbreaking, the seminar experience. Now, this isn't just a keynote, it's a completely new evidence-based program which is designed to empower entire shift-working workforces. I want you to imagine your team armed with the strategies to optimise their sleep, boost their energy, and elevate their health, no matter what schedule they're on. Our core keynote is powerful, but we also offer specialised add-on workshops, which cover deep dives into women in shift work, how to work your own roster optimally, as well as fatigue management for managers. We need your help to bring this transformation to your workplace. Managers want to invest in their teams, but they need to know that we exist. Are you ready to bring real, lasting change to your colleagues and your organisation? Go and visit ahealthyshift.com. That's ahealthyshift.com and follow the seminar experience link up the top, where you can download our detailed e-brochure, or you can simply follow the link in the show notes. Let's help your workforce thrive, not just survive.
Roger Sutherland runs a little thing called ahealthyshift.com. Just that, ahealthyshift, all one word. You can have a look at it Instagram as well, @_healthy, @_shift. Got to get a better version of that. All those underscores. Was that the only option?
No.
No. You went for that.
Yeah, and it's become synonymous. Synonymous.
If you say it often enough, it becomes synonymous.
Depends on how many bottles of wine in you are, I guess.
Thank you. And a podcast is doing it all.
Yeah.
And he barracks for Hawthorn.
I do, indeed. I need a defibrillator, but I just said to you off air before we started that the Hawks, they're giving me heart failure. I think when they were like 46 points up at one stage and next minute it's 9, I was having heart failure, the fade-outs. But it shows true testament to the fact that you can literally dig deep. There's a lot of depth at Hawthorn, and I think they're in a really solid learning curve. A very dangerous team, the Hawks.
Number 3 on the ladder.
Yeah, it lines us up. We've got a tough month. We've got the Demons coming up. We've got the Pies coming up. We've got Freo over there coming up. They're going to be tested, the Hawks. They're going to be tested, which is good because you've got to beat the top. To be the best, you've got to beat the best, don't you?
I'm just trying to think, when does Melbourne play? Holy dooly, we're going
3
to that?
weeks.
Huh?
Yes, we've already talked about that. We said
go?
we would. You said you'd take me into the MCC and I'd meet you there. You got your daughters coming over.
That same weekend, I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's the game we're going to.
That's correct. Well, you promised.
Yeah. No, I can't.
I've diarised it.
Oh, jeez.
You invited me to come into the MCC members with you.
So the next thing is you'd want to come to dinner with us afterwards.
That would be the next. That's the most logical thing to do.
And you would pay.
That's not what I said. You invited me.
You sure?
Yeah. And I'd be sitting there drinking my 0 beers anyway because there's no good amount of alcohol.
Oh, is that
It's fighting words to start off with,
That is a fighting word. Thank you very much. Let's talk. Do you want to talk about shift work?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah?
I'd love to. We've got an amazing topic coming out of the 5 o'clock news that I really wanted to talk about. We've touched on it before, but I really want to dig into it today and get the people talking about it.
Mondayitis.
So let's have a listen. I want to talk about Mondayitis coming out of the news and if people suffer from Mondayitis or whether they believe it's a real thing. I think there's 2 things in life that people will be there's a number of things that we're divided on, but one is, does the full moon have an impact on people? Like, does it? Do we notice a big difference? I'm telling you now.
Well, as a copper, you'd know that from the behaviour of people at 2 o'clock in the morning.
The police and nurses, nursing and paramedics will all tell you that there is you can tell. If you're driving to work on night shift and there's a full moon in the sky, your heart sinks. It dies a little.
Because you just know
it's going to be a brutal shift. Very, very difficult. But what I want to talk about is is shift work the problem? Is it actually the shift work, or is it the lack of education out there on how to go about it? Now, I want to hear from people, and we've got people from 6PR in Perth listening with a lot of FIFO, or fly in, fly out people.
Yep.
And we've also got people in South Australia that are listening. What education did you get around shift work? Were you taught by your organisation how to go about shift work? What were you told? Were you just given a flyer and said, this is it? Because I can tell you now, we're way beyond today just packing humans into a 24/7 roster and just going, okay, we've got to fill this roster, just start pushing people into it. At the enterprise bargaining agreements that companies are negotiating now, the unions need to start pushing back, and there's people that you can consult with now, really good people that you can consult with, that will literally sit down and look at what you need, look at who you've got, and will talk to the staff, talk to management, and come up with a really good plan as to how to optimally roster staff for it. Because they're not doing that. We've gone from...
Historically, they've not done it, though, Roger.
Historically, they don't ever do it.
Hospitals would never have considered that
in the
60s, 70s and 80s.
No, but hospital rostering is appalling. These swing shifts that the nurses have to do, where they finish at 11 o'clock and they've got to be back at 7 in the morning, are just so detrimental to their health. So detrimental. Now, in the police, they have a minimum of 10 hours between their shift, but even that is still not biologically good for those people. We shouldn't be doing these swing-style shifts because...
What about if you're young? Is that as bad?
It's a lot easier to do, but it doesn't mean it's having less of a biological impact. It doesn't. You still have it. The older we get, and you got to remember, you pay a tax when you do shift work. It's that simple. You're paying a tax, and the tax is your health, and it's compounding the more shifts
even when you're
that
20,
you
21, 25?
Absolutely.
And yet,
Absolutely.
back in the day, when we were studying at William Angliss, you'd be working at the Hotel Australia, albeit part-time. Over a busy weekend, you might start, say, around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd go through until midnight, maybe 1, sometimes later in the morning, right?
Yes.
Then race home, taxi home, which was provided by the business. But you'd be asked to come back by about 7 to do a breakfast shift. But you were 23, weren't even that really, probably 19.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that effortlessly because we just knew that it was...
You were still paying a tax.
Physically,
Absolutely.
mentally.
Biologically, circadian misalignment, we underestimate the impact that it has being up and at this time of the night. We really do. Like for me, coming in here, moving to the 4:30 slot is a lot better for me biologically than it was going to sleep, getting up, coming in at midnight, doing the midnight to 1, then going back to bed. That was a severe impact. So me getting up now, because I'll stay up for the rest of the day now, right? So I readjust. I'll keep going. I may have a little kindy nap in the afternoon.
There's nothing wrong with the nap.
No, naps. We need to make nappings our superpower.
We should. Well, they do it in other parts of the world.
Yeah, they do.
Say hello to Christian. Say hello to Christian. You're at the Melbourne airport, Christian.
I'm just on my way there, I worked for Telstra for 20 years and we did monitoring. Telstra employed Monash University to do a study into shift work.
Yes.
And they said to get the best benefit out of your staff is to have them on permanent shifts, whether it be permanent night, permanent day.
Now, Monash are brilliant. They are superb, and they have a very, very good unit at Monash University because I communicate with the researchers. In fact, I'm involved with the research out of the University of Queensland at the moment, and it's fantastic. But just so you know, humans cannot work permanent nights, and I've done a podcast with a very, very well-known researcher who has made it quite clear that we can't adjust to permanent nights as a diurnal human being, so we can't adjust. People can try. And the argument that Christian's raising here for people to do permanent day shift or permanent afternoon shift, rostering now needs to be permanent day and then going into permanent afternoon and then maybe a few nights and then days off. It needs to be what we call a forward rotation instead of going nights, then afternoons and then days, which is just
Which
horrible.
has historically been the model.
Absolutely, it has.
Including for police officers.
Yeah, and a lot of research puts people down doing 12-hour shifts and very highly supported 12-hour shifts, doing 12-hour day, 12-hour day, 12-hour night, 12-hour night, 4 days off.
Really hard, though. It's a great call. You kicked it off beautifully for us, Christian. Thanks,
Christian.
What about nurses, female nurses in the day that would be asked to do all kinds of weird shifts, but quite often 2 or 3 overnights and, 1 or 2 daytime shifts. Did they complain? Was it?
Yes.
They did.
And now they are really complaining. And I think what we're losing sight of as well is an area of expertise for me as a shift work coach, because I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people, and majority of them have been female. And I now specialise in shift work for females because the impact biologically on a female is horrendous compared to males. And one of the main reasons is because they've got an infradian rhythm. They've got that 28-day cycle that fluctuates hormonally within over that 28-day cycle as well. And that has a massive impact because the infradian rhythm relies so heavily on asynchronized circadian rhythm, right, which is our 24-hour cycle. Now, we as men can't understand that because we don't have a 28-day cycle or an infradian rhythm. And
I don't know. I reckon some do.
Oh, yeah. People would say I do. But
yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
Oh, I know. But, and another thing that's a real problem is the lack of research in the area for females as well. So the poor ladies are really struggling with shift work. And as you said, predominantly nurses are females as well. And they're in this environment where they've got this artificial light that's got zero infrared, high blue light overnight. They're eating overnight. They're working these swing shifts. There's absolutely no thought put into how a nurse's roster goes.
Yeah.
And you've got to remember, they're sacrificing their own health for the health of other people as well. Anyone working shift work in particular is actually sacrificing their own health for the health of others.
And that's notwithstanding what we may or may not be eating when working overnight, including...
Well, that's a whole topic.
That's a whole topic, including eating a handful of TV snacks.
Which I did notice, and Jay, I did notice the packet in the bin, the empty packet in the bin.
Oh,
so
did
you didn't hide it.
Did you try to hide it, Jay?
Yes.
You tried to hide it.
No, we finished that one this
When
morning.
you say we, you mean...
Who's we?
I'm just saying we finished that one this morning. I'll stick with we.
Okay. I think you've been lagged.
Well, I
T-Mac?
had a handful during the 3 o'clock news. When I say a handful, 4 or 5.
Well, we don't understand, and it's important. It is a whole topic, Edie, and I'll bring that in for the next show, eating on night shift, because it is a really important topic. Our body, whether we're awake
You're
or
going to say, you've got to eat almonds, Tony.
that's what I'm absolutely going to say, and fruit, almonds, fruit, nuts, high protein, liquid, something that's really easy to digest.
Aqua.
Aqua, plenty of aqua.
Plenty of aqua.
Loads and loads and loads. In fact, it's important that we, for those that are on night shift, loads and loads and loads of water. Shift workers need higher levels of hydration, and the reason being is because of that desynchronized circadian rhythm. Again, their digestive tract is really struggling to digest anything in the system. So the water helps to push that through and keep it moving.
Thank you. Been doing 12-hour shifts 7 days a week since 1997, says Mark. 12-hour shift, 7-day fortnight.
7-day fortnight.
7-day fortnight.
That's incredible. Well done. I wonder what Mark does, because 12-hour shifts are very, very long shift. Melissa does 12 hours.
Well, it depends on the age group. I mean, you can do it when you're younger. I just wonder whether it becomes more problematic as you get older.
Why do you think that is? Because we've been paying a tax when we're younger with our circadian misalignment.
But you can say that about anything, though, Roger. You can say
we can.
the
Of
myth because you're getting a little older, and so the body doesn't...
You will never win the argument with me about circadian disruption and the tax that we're paying on that every single time we work.
Look at the tax I'm paying. 133 for Australia overnight. Isn't there a great saying, Roger Sutherland?
Yes.
Routine will set you free.
Oh, we don't realise the impact that lack of routine has on us in physically and mentally. Routine is everything. It is the absolute
For the human condition.
for humans, for the human body, it counts on routine. We've got to remember we have rhythms: ultradian rhythm, which runs every 90 minutes. We have circadian rhythm, which runs every 24 hours. Females have the infradian rhythm, which runs every 28 days. We are very rhythmic, and we need to stay in line with it.
The rhythm of the city.
The rhythm of the city. Great text here from Mike too. Can night shift cause high blood pressure? 100%. It does cause high blood pressure. It causes cardiovascular disease.
It is the cause or a cause?
A cause.
A cause.
Does cause. Yeah, absolutely. Circadian misalignment has a massive impact on our health.
In Footscray, Nicholas, good morning.
Hey boys, how you going?
Well, thank
Boys,
you.
I've been driving trucks for 35 years, and every couple of years we start bloody earlier. From 7 o'clock. Now we start at 5 o'clock and we finish any time. And I drive trucks on the wharf.
And how long would you roughly work for, Nick?
Anytime. Well, they expect us to work for anywhere from 10 to 12 hours.
Right. So again, we are just packing.
It is a brain wrecker.
Yeah, it is. And again, and this highlights the point, because I've got a text here as well in relation to, is the roster created to suit the job or the shift worker? And Nick, you would argue they're just satisfying their own needs with no consideration to your health. Agree?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's 100% what needs to change.
And remember, I'm 65.
Yes.
Right? I'm still doing it. I'm not, and it just keeps taking a little bit out of you, and I won't be able to bloody retire at this rate.
No, you're just paying your tax every shift, aren't you?
So, Nicholas, let me ask you, the impact on family life after all those years, if any?
A quick pause from today's topic for something vital for every shift worker. That's right, that's you. Now, you know the relentless grind, constant fatigue, struggles with sleep, and that feeling your energy just isn't where it should be. And this is a common story in 24/7 roles, but it just doesn't have to be your workforces. At A Healthy Shift, I've combined 4 decades of frontline experience with cutting-edge science to create the seminar experience. Now, this isn't just a basic workshop. It's a comprehensive, game-changing program that is built to give entire workforces actionable strategies that they need to truly master their well-being on any schedule. And they're implemented immediately. Now, beyond the powerful core keynote, I offer specialised add-on workshops which dive deep into women and shift work, fatigue management, and how to work your own roster. Now, these tools empower your colleagues to thrive, improve performance, and boost their health, helping your organisation to retain valuable staff. Now, if you believe your workforce deserves better, speak up, because your managers won't know about this vital resource. Click the link in the show notes, download the e-brochure, and put it up the line. Invest in your team's most valuable asset, their health.
Well, look, I'm divorced, but I've still got one that's 19. But
What, a girlfriend that's 19?
No, my daughter's 19.
Oh, sorry, right.
She's at Melbourne Uni.
Yep.
I've done something pretty good there, but the older one's 46 with kids. But yeah, it gets really, really hard. I'm about to clock on now, and it just gets really, really tough. And I tell the boys here, all the young kids that drive, there's about 100 of us, look to do something else. Don't think this is a great job.
I agree. Yeah, and the other thing too, Nick, when your next enterprise bargaining agreement comes up, if you have got a thing, if you work for the company, this needs to be a point that needs to be made to the union. We need to wind this back or have some boundaries in place because this company is eating away at us all the time.
Does it come with a cost to business though, Roger?
It's still the same amount of staff going into a 24-hour shift. You know what? It's a work health and safety issue, Tony.
Of course.
And it is literally a work health and safety issue. And it's specified in the Act that they have to educate people and they have to look at risk. The longer people work, the more risk there is in the workplace. That is just an irrebuttable presumption that people cannot argue against. And fatigue is the cause of accidents, complaints, and problems in the workplace. It needs to be managed better.
Jack in Ringwood, say hello to Roger. Roger Sutherland here on 3AW.
Roger, you're a star, mate. I've got a number of mates that were in the job, and one's still in the job. He's actually now on a holiday in South Africa for 12 weeks. But no, listen, I'd like to discuss the 3 different shift works I did. Early days as a printer on night shift, it nearly killed me, I've got to say.
Yep.
My eyes felt like they were sandpaper all the time. I used to take a frying pan into work. Everyone else eat sandwiches. I'd be eating steak, and I dropped to 75 kilos. It was just horrendous on concrete floors, high volatile inks under that fluorescent lighting. It was very unhealthy for me. I got very ill a number of times. Then I did many years in hotels and night shift in gaming rooms, and then I drove trucks as well. If I look back at it, it's got what I've got, but it's certainly taken its toll. I'll be honest. It's definitely not healthy. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
and you lose a lot of old friends that you gathered at some points in your life, and then because of that shift work, you lose a lot of them.
it's lonely, isn't it, Jack? Shift work. It's lonely. Like while you're bonding with the people that you are actually working with, at the end of the day, they are friends by proximity. They are not actual friends.
Well, there's that. And thank you. It's a great call, Jack.
Fantastic
thank
call.
you. And even in the 2.5 that I've sat in this chair, it's not the downside, it's the wrong expression. It's one of the outcomes, I suppose, of resting during the day, so you really haven't got the time and or inclination to catch up with friends and family, certainly during the week. Give it a real red-hot go Friday night and Saturday. But during the week, it's almost impossible to associate. And then people sort of then say, oh, what time can we ring you?
Well, so you won't go to the footy on a Sunday?
No, because I've got to come in here.
I know, but football is on Sunday, and that's your escape, and shift work impacts on that. It does. It impacts on that because you've got to come in here and do the show, so you've got to prepare for it. Now, I'm not saying, right or wrong. I'm just saying that don't underestimate the impact that has, that when the people that you go to the footy with say, hey, T-Mac, I'll see you at the G on Sunday. No, I can't go.
Can't do it, not on a Sunday. Never on a Sunday.
Too much.
It is Australia Overnight.
Now, this is Australia Overnight with Tony McManus.
Thank you, Christy. It is Australia Overnight. If you would like to join us, you can do that, 133693. 693. And why would you want to? Well, let me tell you why you would want to. That's right, Roger Sutherland's here from A Healthy Shift. We're going to talk about Mondayitis. Now, for those that may not know, Roger's become a great friend of this program over the last few years, couple of years now.
2.5.
Veteran law enforcement officer for a long time.
40 years.
Now, just before we move on to your topic, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you on behalf of this audience what we saw drastically yesterday when President Trump was taken out of that room so very effectively and quickly.
And efficiently,
Efficiently.
Yes.
You've got to marvel at that. The question still will remain how that bloke got in there anyway. That will be under
that will be under investigation.
Yeah. Having said that, it's pretty precise. It's just intimidatingly precise, isn't it? In terms of the way they manage it.
What about the fully kitted up armed SWAT style officers that appeared from nowhere suddenly? And also we call them bullet catchers, the bodyguards that literally stood around him to take the bullets if they had to.
That's their training.
I know, but they're humans, you know, and they're standing in front of the president with their body just broad open. Like, they're wearing ballistic vests, right? Underneath, they're wearing ballistic vests. But a ballistic vest is just a resistance. It's not a bulletproof vest.
And yet one of the officers that did was wearing and escaped death.
But you got to remember it's not like the TV where the bullet just lodges in there and the bloke comes to and gets up and walks off and goes, wow, that hurt. It's significant trauma from a bullet hitting a ballistic vest. And significant internal trauma. So he will take a long time to recover from that, but he's alive. And that's what the key point is for the vest. But the precision, you're right, they came in from everyone. Everyone knew what to do instantly, straight away. And you asked me off air, would we be able to do that with our Prime Minister and things like that?
God forbid.
Yes, we would. Yeah, they would whip the Prime Minister and dignitaries away very quickly.
The level of training has been in place forever?
Oh, there's a lot that goes on. Oh, yes. Even when I remember when the Vice President, Dan Quayle, came to Australia. Now, I can't remember what year it was, but I know I was in my first few years, so it was probably 85, 86, 84, 85, thereabouts. And I remember the Vice President, Dan Quayle, coming to Melbourne, and we had to do security on that. You could not get close to it. They brought all their own Secret Service. They brought their own vehicles. They brought everything. Everything was all run. It wasn't just, we'll just use your cars, your people. They took over everything. The police were literally just directing traffic and stopping, but nothing stopped for them.
In New York, Clinton was having a meeting with the Greek Orthodox Church in the Waldorf Astoria in New York. And there were about 30 officers on every corner all around the Waldorf.
That you could see.
That I could see.
That you could see.
So then I blindly wandered, thinking I've got to have a squeeze because I was by myself and I've got to have a look at this. So got into the Waldorf, sat there in the lounge. Not one person approached me. Would I be naive in thinking that they didn't know who I was, when I was, and...
That would be naive.
Yeah.
And we underestimate too, like at the airport, as you're coming through, because, we've got a lot of people coming in through the airport. You've only got to be at Tullamarine at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning to see all those international flights coming in and people waiting to come through. It'd be incredibly naive of you to think. A lot of people come through and they think, I just walked through. Like it was just so easy. Tap this, tap that, and I'm all of a sudden standing outside and no one saw. That would be incredibly naive to think that you weren't being monitored as you came through.
At some point.
People are standing there watching. They're watching people. They're watching for body language. They're watching for who's with who. They know who's coming.
And these are people trained to be able to do that.
Absolutely trained to do that. Absolutely they're trained to do that. That sort of thing goes on in the background at the airports and that all the time. So if you think that you can be up to no good and come through the airport with ill intent, you'd be very surprised. You'll be very surprised at what surprise you might get when you get tapped on the shoulder and taken into a room off the side.
Just to wrap up the previous conversation just before the news, my friend drives fuel tankers midnight, starts 3 nights, then swaps to midday starts. 2 days surely can't be healthy, which is what you're
Absolutely
saying.
not.
Yeah.
So that's what we call a reverse rotation. Starting at midnight, then coming back to middays. That's a reverse rotation, and it's really bad, really impactful on people's health.
We're going to talk about Mondayitis. Is it a thing? 133693, you would say?
Mondayitis is absolutely a thing, and there's a very, very good reason. I want to hear from people, 133693, on this topic, because it's Monday, and people will be on their way to work now, and they'll be tuning in and listening in. How do you feel today compared to how you were feeling Thursday and Friday morning last week? Is it a struggle? Was it a struggle to get up this morning? Was it a struggle to wake up? Do you feel out of sorts as you're driving to work? Do you feel like you're desynchronized from what you're actually doing? I really want to hear from people on that one there. That's 133693. Give us a call because you are suffering from circadian misalignment in the morning because you've gone through last week, you've worked last week on your day shifts or whatever, and I'm just talking to the 9 to 5 population here at the moment. And as you go through and you're working your 9 to 5 and getting up, Monday and Tuesday are always struggles, but you start to get into sync on Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday. What do you do Friday night? You stay up late and you have a sleep in on Saturday to, I quote, got my quote fingers up, to catch up on sleep. You can't catch up on sleep.
No,
I want to make
can't.
it very clear. You cannot catch up on sleep. So those lie-ins that you're having, not lie-in, that sleep-in that you're actually having on Saturday and Sunday morning, you are creating further biological chaos in your body. So therefore, you're phase shifting that clock, that internal clock. When you get to Monday morning and your alarm goes off, it's such a shock because you're in the middle of a sleep cycle because you have already phase shifted, and that's how quickly it happens. So how do we combat this? Because when we travel and we go overseas, what do? When we go overseas, like you jump on a plane
And sleep.
you travel across
try and
time
sleep.
zones. Well, no, what you do is in the new time zone, you don't want to miss anything. You're up early, you're down at the breakfast bar, you're having your coffee, you're out in the daylight, you're moving around all day. And what you're doing is you're telling your body clock, this is the new time. This is where you need to be. And the body clock goes, okay, now I know. So you're having breakfast, you're having lunch, you're having dinner, you're up, you're out, you're working. Now, everyone suffers from jet lag when they come home. Why do we suffer from jet lag when we come home? What do? We sleep in to catch up. We flop onto the couch and watch TV.
Yeah.
We don't go out. We don't eat at normal, regular times. And then all our body is doing is responding to the signals that we're pushing into it.
And the problem with that is?
Well, you're pushing it out, but you're telling it you want to do. It's what we call social jet lag.
Paul, good morning on the peninsula.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
I'm good. Roger
Paul.
Sutherland's here. I'm Tony McManus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I work a rotating shift. As far as Mondayitis, I just finished doing a rotating roster night shift Saturday morning from 12-hour shift Friday night.
Yep.
And now I'm starting a 12-hour shift for 2 weeks, day shift.
Oh, what? So you finished night shift, you worked night shift Friday night and finished...
Yeah, finished at 6 o'clock Saturday morning.
And now you're on your way to work to start a day shift on Monday.
12-hour shift Monday, yeah.
How many nights did you do, Paul?
We did, last week I did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 12-hour shifts.
That is disgraceful. You've had one clear day off.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been doing it for 20 years now at a hospital in Berwick.
Yeah. I've got to say, I'm sorry, but Paul, that is appalling rostering. Working 3 or 4 nights and phase shifting you, giving you one day off and then lining you up for how many day shifts?
This week I do 12-hour shifts today, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, then work Saturday, Sunday.
Paul, do you feel if that's debilitating to you?
Oh, yeah, it takes a toll. I mean, you sort of got a real strong mindset thing. I mean, let alone your body taking its toll.
Yep. Without us knowing what Paul does, Ron. Now he works in a hospital, but we don't know what he actually does. You've got to remember, Paul is a healthcare worker.
He's a surgeon. I don't know.
No, but he's a healthcare worker.
Yeah.
Okay. What about that? Let's just put the picture in place and say Paul is a surgeon. Would they do that to a surgeon? Would they tell a surgeon that he's got to work 4 nights of night shift and then would he do that and then come in? Because if he's opening up your head and operating on your brain like that, you're not going to be very comfortable with that, are you? And yet we're expecting our poor nurses
to do it.
And lower level doctors, ED doctors and things like that that are doing these shifts, sacrificing their own health. That is appalling, Paul. My heart goes out to you. It's really terrible rostering. Terrible.
Good on you, Paul. Great caller. Wish you well. Have a better day. But, I mean, are there any options for people like Paul? We might look at that the other side of this on Australia Overnight. Turn the microphone on. If you have just joined us for the first time, Roger Sutherland. We catch up with Roger every couple of weeks as part of Australia Overnight. Rog specialises in shift workers and working with shift workers and has done for some time now. And the idea of Mondayitis, I was always a bit like the person who says, I've got terrible Mondayitis, I feel really bad.
Yeah.
Or were they just being negative? But you say it is a thing.
Oh, it is absolutely a thing, yeah. And I think for parents will really understand this more than anybody else. And I use this example all the time for people. And that is, when you've got teenage children, how hard are they to get to school on Monday morning and Tuesday morning? They are nigh on impossible to get out of bed and to get organised. They're walking around like zombies. They can't think. You're yelling and screaming at them.
They're teenagers usually.
Yes, they're teenagers. But by Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, we're still yelling at them. We're still trying to get them organised, but they're a lot better at getting up and getting going. And then what do we do Friday night? Oh, you don't have school tomorrow. You can stay up. You can stay up late. So they're sitting in their room playing computer games until midnight, can't sleep, and then sleeping in the next day until midday or 1. And we've all been there because we've all done that. Had the big sleep in. And then Saturday night, they're up late because they're playing their video games with their friends and they're up doing that. And then Sunday, they sleep in until lunchtime. What they've actually done is phase shifted their circadian clock, their biological clock, which is unavoidable. But they've phase shifted it to the stage where when the alarm goes off on Monday morning, they've got to get up. They're waking themselves up either mid-cycle or in between cycles. And that's why they're so desynchronised from society.
One 133693. Do we mention this one? My friend drives fuel tankers midnight, starts for 3 nights and swaps to midday, starts for 2 days.
Reverse rotation is shocking. It's really, really bad, and it causes all sorts of problems for people.
Family.
Well, it is. This is the thing that shift work has a massive impact.
Nicholas is in Footscray. Roger, Nicholas.
Another Nicholas.
Hey, but now it was me before you.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yep.
Didn't realise.
I've been listening to you for years, son. Listen, I've been driving trucks for 35 years. 85 I started, right?
Yep.
At the brewery.
Yep.
At the brewery. Now, we had a really hard job at the brewery, but we used to do it, and we had a great time doing it. But in 91, this is where we all cop it. In 91, we all got the sack at the brewery.
Yep.
And that was the beginning of the end. There was no unions after that, and they chased the unions down, and now we haven't got no unions.
Oh.
Now,
so there's no one to fight for you?
Well, boys, I don't know where you're talking really well, but you've got to get to the crux of the matter, and it's with the unions, right?
Well, it's a very good.
I totally agree. But this is what I'm saying, and this is exactly my point, Nick. That what I'm saying is, staff need to be addressing this with their union or their association or whatever.
Businesses need to be looking at that for the health of their
business.
business.
Businesses are not looking at it, right? But businesses are not going to look at it until the staff start pinning them.
But that's my point, though, Rod. Surely businesses have got to be looking at it. If they're not, they're being negligent, because the success of their business could be impacted by this.
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I know, but they've got a duty of care to their staff under the
that
Act
too.
Hang on. It's the law. It's not just it'd be nice to have and we're running a business. It's actually the law that they have to lower risk.
We've got to do this. Sorry, this half hour just flies past.
Doesn't it?
So forgive, it goes too quickly. 133693. We'll look at the traffic. Roger will stay here for another couple of minutes if you have anything you'd like to add to the program.
Yep.
133693 next. Oh, we love them. We love Monday. If you would like to know more about what Roger does and with whom he does it, ahealthyshift.com.
Ahealthyshift.com. Now, I've got an announcement today.
Oh, an announcement.
I'm really excited to announce that I'm offering... A lot of people don't want the commitment of 12 weeks coaching.
No.
But I'm offering one-off, 1-hour sessions for people. If you've got questions around your shift work, we can address those questions in a 1-hour session. I think it's a really good option for people that just want... not everyone wants that whole lot. So 1-hour sessions, if you go to the website, ahealthyshift.com, and you can reach out to me there. I'm happy to help anybody with that.
So it's a_healthy_shift.
That's the Instagram. It's ahealthyshift.com on the website there.
I beg your pardon. Sorry.
No worries.
Ahealthyshift.com. Thanks, mate. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
See you in a couple of weeks' time. Okay. We love Mondays. I'm Tony Mack. For all we know, we may never meet again. Ross and Russ next. Have a fantastic Monday.
The whole day down.
Melbourne's 380.